Okay, welcome back. So heads up, through the use of Movie Magic, I've gone ahead and done some masks in advance. So I've just used the same techniques that I showed in week 2 in the many hours of masking videos. If you need a quick refresher, go ahead and pick a few of those and watch those. It should come back. Or if you've taken notes, you can just flip through your notes. You'll be good to go. Now, I did do one other thing. I did these masks as a selection using quick mask mode, and if you'll recall, that's the one where you can go in here and just paint in and create a selection, and then when you come out you have a selection. But I did one other thing. At that point I went to select and I went to save selection. I named these and I stored them as new channels, so they're available to me as selections which I can convert back to masks back and forth. So let's take a quick look at what those are. If we pop over to the channels, you can see that I have the sky, I have the mountains, and I'm just noticing that I have some of the mountain snow. I didn't notice that when I was working on that before, so I'm just gonna come in here real quick and go badoop, 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 and grab those. And we got the mountains, and same deal. I missed a little smudge on that when I was doing this, so I'll just click in there to fix that up, and I'll just clean that up real quick. There we go. Look how much better that is. Boom. And so you get an idea of how I made these things. All right, so I've got the mountains, and I've got foreground objects, which is just pretty much everything in the foreground, including little boats and everything. It looks like the front wall is probably going to be darker than the rest of the stuff, so I might need to go in and do the front wall. So I've got the front wall there. I have the trees on the right, which has a little bit of extra gook, so I'll just go ahead and clean that up. I've got the trees on the left, which, yeah, it's passable. I'd spend some more time on that one, but I kind of want to, I'm excited to show you guys what we've got here. And I've got the lake, and the lake is just the lake essentially without any of the other elements in it. So I have all these available to me because I have done this image before for demonstrations, and I know that it's a little more complicated, and so it makes a great demonstration for a curve with masks. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Now keep in mind, we're going to be doing a comparison side by side with the original photo layer and the edited photo. The way that we're going to make sure that the adjustments only affect the edited photo, and in fact the reason why the edited photo is above, is when we create an adjustment, be it levels or vibrance or hue and saturation or color balance, whatever you're doing, hint hint, make sure you do curves. That's a big part of this assignment. We're going to clip it to the layer below, and we have this little button that will let us do that. If we click it, it will clip to layer below. If we alt click, then it will stay put there. I think in the instructions I also say to make sure to link it to the item, and that's for masking purposes. I'll show you what happens if you don't do that when we get to it. But for now, let's go ahead and just take a look at the curves. I'm going to bring up the properties window right here, and if you're missing that, that's under Windows Properties, and that will pop right up. And let's see what's going on. Remember, you can hold down the Alt key so that you can see where you're clipping. And where am I clipping? I'm clipping in the blue channel and the black, but not very much. And what is that? Oh, that's just in there. That's fine. I don't mind that at all. So I can lose a little bit in there. Oh, look, it's better already. And if I come in over here, I'm clipping a little bit in the red, but yeah, notice that sure enough, this particular image is very dark in the foreground. I can clip in a lot if I were just focusing in on the foreground elements. It would damage the sky and everything, but if I want to leave the sky alone, I want to clip in very little. So there's a lot going on in there. So sure enough, this would be a good place to do adjustments and focus on just a little piece at a time. So let's start with just the sky, which should be the easiest part out of all of these. And I'm just going to load in my selection by going to select load selection and choose sky, and from there I will make a new selection right on there. Boom. And I will fill this with black, and it looks like black's my background color right now, so I'll do Control Delete. So black blocks white reveals, or black conceals white reveals, however you want to do it. So why did I fill it with black if I said I want to do sky? Because the rest of it is white and I didn't invert the selection. So the other thing you can do is this. I've deselected with Control D. I'll just invert the whole thing since it's just black and white. Boom. So I'm affecting just the sky. So now that I have just the sky, oh, look how much more we can actually cut in without losing any data. Crazy. Look at that. So anyone remember what a good thing to use if you know where a pure white would be? Like those clouds? That's right. It's the eyedropper tool. Boop. Oh, that's too much. It did a bad job. Now, anyone know why? Because it was an automatic adjustment. So it's always a good idea to try your hand at it first before seeing where it goes. Now I'm just holding down the Alt key on this so I can see where I'm clipping. I don't want to clip in on the white because this is a very light image. So, gotta be careful. Let's start with a classic S curve and see where that gets us. Looks all right. Let's go into the red. I'm seeing where we could maybe do some color adjustments. My word. Notice it's the red is either nothing, it will be red, or it clips to black right away as it goes in. So we'll cut in, and let's go over to green, and we'll cut in. Notice I'm not clipping. There's so much stuff that's just nothing. Cut in, and now we'll pop over to blue, and we'll just cut in, and we'll cut in. All right. So you can see that did a bad job, and who knows why? Yeah, that's right. Because I was just clipping in without watching the overall colors, I was changing the entire balance. So that is something to watch out for when you're doing clipping masks. You want to make sure that you don't just hold down the Alt key the entire time. You want to flip back and forth between everything. So in this case, we know that this is fine. So I'm just going to drag out. And notice I can go to red, and I can see that we're over at the 10, 20, 30, 40% mark or so on there, and about 15% on the inside. So make sure that 10, 20, 30, 40-ish percent. What happens if we just follow everything through? I want you guys to experiment and learn. 20, 30, 40%. Well, that's interesting, but hey, that's not super great either. So now we want to stop and think, what else could we do? Well, for starters, we could reset this, and we could try starting with the automatic adjustment. Boop. And then from the automatic adjustment, go in and provide a little mask. And notice we don't want to clip in at all in this case. And now we can take a look at it before and after. And actually, with our helping hand, it seems better, but it also seems a little blown out in the colors. Now we're stuck with this again. So how do we handle things differently between color and luminosity? That's right, blending modes. So I'm just going to come over here and pop this to luminosity. Notice how disgusting the colors are. That's okay. I'm going to call this sky loom. And we're going to duplicate this entire thing. Boom. Notice if you grab the layer, it will get the, the layer. If you grab the mask, you'll just duplicate the mask, so watch out for that. You want to grab the entire thing so it all moves together. I just dragged it down to the new layer icon on the layers menu to create it. I'm going to reset this, and now I'm just going to do some color adjustments. And notice in the red channel, not super great, so I'm going to leave that alone. Do some more color adjustments, and so we're hitting about the same problem as before. Now from here we can try to think like, what's going on? Why is it just darkening things? Take a look at our color mode. Because we duplicated this entire layer, it didn't switch it back to normal, it left it in luminosity. So this time I'm going to switch it to color. Watch out for that. That'll get me, it will get you too. I'm just going to hit the white on the color, on the cloud. Come here, boop, and get the color that way. And if I don't really like how the color is going, actually I like where the color is going. If I didn't like what the color was doing, I could come in here and I could change the opacity of the layer to have less of a change, which is pretty cool. Same deal. It'll be a little more apparent on the curve that's doing luminosity. See? I can control how much of that curve is occurring, and it's separate from color, so I don't have to worry about it. Overall, I think that's okay. So now's a good time to, boom, save. All right, I'll see you in the next video.